You're listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
I am in holiday purgatory. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The week between Christmas and New Year? I have no idea what's
where
going
it's
on at work.
Yes. And everything's just chaos in a good way. You see those
Nothing's
memes
happening,
all the
but
time.
everything's happening.
Yeah, you see those memes all the time this time of year where you don't know what day it is, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You're just going through it, man.
Yeah,
But
we
it's good. It's a good place to be. It's just that it's just always odd.
we rolled into town 45 minutes ago. Committed to the podcast. Like, we're gonna unload the car. We're gonna jump on the podcast. Typically, we drive back on a Sunday, so like coming back on a Wednesday, like I don't even know what day it is. I don't even know. It's Wednesday. I
Everything's
have
off.
work tomorrow. I'm gonna save the rest of it for the end of the show. I want to get your thoughts on any cool gifts or things you want to share from Christmas.
Okay.
This hat, this thing of beauty right here. I'm showing everybody on the stream. It's my new Rangers hat. Here to let everybody know, World Series champions 2023. Banners fly forever. So,
In case anybody doubted.
in case anybody doubted,
They
now
can't
it's on my
take it away,
hat.
right?
I mean, they didn't take the Astros away from 2017. And I think the biggest thing they would say, well, Adolis Garcia was juicing, man. You know what? He didn't play the last few games of the series. Didn't need him.
Yeah,
A lot of fun.
it
A lot of
was
fun
there.
with the run that he was on to get him there, but didn't end up needing him. Anyways, this is our last episode of 2023. Just talking about we talked about this in our family because we put together a Christmas card, a little letter update that we send out with it. This episode will mark the end of our 7th year on the podcast, Michael.
That makes sense because I have a 7-year-old now.
We started the week of the national title game, which was the first week of January 2017. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is the end of year 7. 388 episodes in. I'd like to think we got it just a little bit better since then, but maybe not much. More comfortable at least. Not so awkward. Still some awkward.
Oh, I mean, that comes with the territory.
Less editing. I say less dumb things. I still say some dumb things.
I say a lot of dumb things.
Well, I meant like dumb enough that like I go back and edit that out. Like it's been a while, but I've edited some stuff out. I think even this year, but not always.
Maybe so.
If you're on the stream, I mean, you get those unedited because it's just we're doing it live. Y'all want to catch the streams typically Tuesday nights, although tonight's a Wednesday. Between 9 and 9:30, we kick this thing off, and then during football season, Saturday evenings after the game. Basketball conference season will go Saturdays as well. So look for those to start up soon-ish. Maybe, I think next weekend, I think. Not this weekend. I don't think. Shoot. Probably should have hashed that up before we started. But YouTube at 23 Personnel. Go ahead and subscribe there. Hit the notification bell so you'll know when we go live if you want to jump in the stream. Otherwise, catch the podcast in your feed next day. Catch the video whenever. Tonight, we're going to be talking about football. Just a final wrap up on National Signing Day. And then a year in review. We're going to do a year in review for all 3 major sports: football, basketball, baseball. Probably not a surprise when you remember that we fired our head coach in basketball. When we get to basketball, the year in review is not pretty. Baseball, since it's been so long, just a quick touch up on that before we get ready for 2024. That's coming fast at you Monday. Hope you're ready for that. We'll talk about our New Year's Eve plans, menus, things special we're doing to ring in the new year. Yeah. So, Michael, you want to start with football? Footy
Yes.
football? All right. So, National Signing Day. We'll do that really quickly. It did go according to plan. You didn't have any surprises. You did have the 2 junior college guys decommit and not sign. Tight end Alex Lines and defensive tackle Danny Saili. Everybody else that was committed signed. You didn't have any signing day flips, which is okay. I think outside the program, maybe what made you the most nervous was Micah Hudson's national letter of intent was the last to come in. But you did hear from Coach McGuire saying like he committed to the school back in June, which I think we were all kind of aware or had suspected that had happened. And then they basically said you will announce whenever you want to. And he wanted to capitalize on the momentum following the Oregon game. So he chose to announce in September. And then he was with the program the whole time. It wasn't like he made all those visits and all that kind of stuff. So internally they weren't so worried about it as maybe you and I may have been, or anybody that was following recruiting very closely. Taking note stock of when letters of intent were coming in and who we were waiting on. Micah Hudson was last. It's okay. It is in. He's officially a Red Raider, as is the rest of the class. That class good for 23rd in the country, so that's your second top 30 class under McGuire. And then when you look around at the guys that have been contributing from these, his first class, you're obviously enthusiastic about the direction of the program and development. You can see a clear plan in place. Guys that they're going after, body types, athletes, skill sets, and then how they're going to be utilized. 23rd in the country, good for first in the new Big 12, which is exciting. You want to be staking your claim, being the competitive leader within the conference football wise. Well, you're going to do that with the way you build your roster. First in the Big 12. Anything else on signing day you want to touch on, Michael?
I'm just trying to caution people because I don't know. I think everybody's there's a lot of people already back in the bowl win, and then National Signing Day happened like it was supposed to,
Mhm.
and then everyone's like, "Oh, okay, well, 8-9 wins next year."
Yeah,
here we go.
It's possible.
Here we go.
Maybe Joey won't pump the sunshine as much as he did last year. I mean,
Yeah, that's his nature, though. He can't help himself.
Positive.
Yeah.
He's a believer. Not that there isn't anything to be looking forward to, but your offensive line is going to be a new patchwork quilt of new guys. See how they all come together and contribute. Skill wise, I think you've got pieces on your receiver room that you're excited about. In terms of guys that have been here and have contributed, in Coy Eakin, Jordan Brown, guys like that. I'm blanking on names, but also guys that had redshirt that are have the opportunity to step up and step into the some playing time. And then obviously new guys. Micah Hudson is going to be expected to contribute in some way. Is he going to be a starter? I don't know if he'll be starter game one, but I think he'll be a contributor, and he'll be definitely, if he's, I don't expect anything to be wrong or, that he's not going to be on campus or whatever, but if he's healthy and on the team in the fall, I fully expect him to make the wide receivers a better position group, whether just him participating and playing or just that competitor pushing the guys around him. Now, I don't think he's going to come in and be like your leading receiver, yards, catches, touchdowns, anything like that. I don't think it's fair to put those expectations on him. You got lots of guys around him that have the experience, age, whatever. I would probably if you can look for a guy like that, I would say probably a Josh Kelly would be the leading candidate for that role. Being he's old, he's been around a few different programs and been huge for them. Caleb Douglas, I think, could also, if you're looking at especially new guys, the transfer that's coming in from Florida. But plenty of time to get there. Taj Brooks being back is also huge. Valdez being back, also big positive. So
you are saying 9-3. Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Oh.
I'm not saying that yet. I already got burned by that. We're not gonna play with that fire again. I would say you've got pieces there, depending on how your offensive line comes together and how the skill positions, the receivers come together. I'm going to help contribute to. I mean, obviously they're going to contribute, but they're going to be a huge piece to how you perform on the field, wins and losses wise. And I guess learning from this year, I'll be more of a wait and see. At least on December 27th, 2023, I am a show me first.
Yeah.
Yes. I got burned by the expectations and the hype and.
Well, now we've got something else we could do, which I think we had it on our notes last week, but we didn't actually talk about it. Is we could go into the schedule a little bit, which could lead into.
We don't have dates or anything, but we can tell you.
Yeah.
Who you face at home, who you face on the road. And I haven't done deep dive into their schedules or their rosters or anything, so I can't tell you, oh man, West Virginia next year is going to be decimated. Their roster is going to be gone, or they're returning everybody. But your home schedule: Abilene Christian, North Texas, Arizona State, Colorado, Baylor, Cincinnati, West Virginia. So you get 7 home games. I like that. I like that a lot. I don't think outside of West Virginia, only team that you'll face at home in 2024 that had a winning record was West Virginia.
Yeah, and they just went on tonight. We'll our quick bowl game recap later, but to spoil it a little bit, they put a whooping on the Tar Heels.
Yeah, they did. The game I would have been
drenched in mayo.
A game I would have been very interested to watch, but we were, like I said, on the road. Took down Mac Brown. It's the Brown Bowl. To get bathed.
What can Brown do for you?
So West Virginia winning that one. So the rest of them, though, I mean, Baylor reeling from having to replace all their offensive staff. Cincinnati, they just weren't set up to be successful this year. Colorado, I mean, we all thought, or at least I thought they were going to be bad. They started the season really hot, and I was like, well, maybe we were wrong. And they were definitely catching a lot of attention early in the season. And then, reality kind of set in, and unfortunate injuries. Like I know they lost Travis Hunter for the season right there as the losses started to pile up. Arizona State, North Texas, ACU, Baylor, none of those teams scare me. So you could go 7-0, 6-1 at home. And then to improve on your results from this year, you just got to win one of these road games. Washington State, your out of conference game. Arizona, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and TCU. So
Yeah, all pretty tough places to play outside of TCU, maybe. And I guess I can't really say too much about Arizona. I know that Tech had that series with Arizona a while back, but I don't remember a whole lot about it.
it was Matt Wells. So that's about what
Got
you could
Colin
say.
Schooler out of it. That's what I remember.
Yeah, and the game that you probably should have won, that game in Arizona, but you know,
There was a lot of those games during that era that you probably should have won.
yeah.
There was that tweet going around today. What single play would you change from any football game or something? And I couldn't get out of my head the botched blocked field goal at Kansas.
So not just like specific to last season, just any play.
I think just any time, yeah.
Okay,
Because
so
a lot of Tech fans were, well, not a lot, I don't know, but Coach Beans in particular was ragging on the Longhorns, saying, "Oh, we already know which one y'all would pick," and he had the Crabtree catch. But my thought immediately went to that Kansas game or the face mask on 3rd and 3,000 versus Kansas State. Of course, we wouldn't. Then it's all a whole butterfly effect. Well, then would we have Joey McGuire right now? I don't know, but we might have a non-win Matt Wells right now, huh? How about that? Think about that.
So the play I would change, Michael,
Portal heavy. What?
was the last second touchdown at home versus TCU.
Yeah, that one.
That ball that got tipped.
Yes, I saw that one make the rounds too, but I can't remember who tweeted that. But yeah, I saw that one too.
It's like one of those plays. It's like when it happens, you're like, I can't believe that just happened against us. Like there's,
I know.
Obviously, like the offensive game plan was to have Dotson catch everything, and we had no defensive backs. Like I think we had Justice Nelson, covering him at that point. Not a great throw. I think it was behind Dotson, ends up getting tipped. And then Aaron Green, who shouldn't have been anywhere near where he was, catches the deflection with his toes barely in bounds. Like it was like all the things that had to go right, or I guess wrong too. Just all the things that had to line up for that play. So there's that one. I think because when you talk about one play,
the butt fumbles up there.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of like singular plays that determined outcomes of games, but that one for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And then like you pointed to the you said the blocked field goal against Kansas. You just finish that game off. My goodness. Anyways,
just go down.
And I remember like being so lost. We were just like, I know that they had like it was a point of emphasis in practice, and I've been like all Matt Wells' career
right.
that like when they force turnovers, they're going to look to score. So like when we get this blocked field goal and the guy's going down, he's looking to like, let's keep the ball alive. Let's figure out a way to go score here. I was like, yep, that came back to bite you.
Or situational football. No win not to do that.
Maybe another play I would change is maybe the play call not to kick a field goal on second down.
Yeah, the second down field goal. Mm-hmm.
Which like you're like, well, what's so like out of context? Like a lot of field goals are probably kicked on second down when there is no time left.
I guess the one silver lining with a lot of these being Matt Wells games is Tech was actually that close in them. A lot of the games in the Kingsbury era, Tech was down by 3 touchdowns. So there wasn't one play you could point to and go, oh, well, if Balaj hadn't scored the
7th
touchdown.
That game was actually closer than you would think.
Had it.
Despite Balaj having a Heisman moment.
Yeah, it was.
Was it Texas Tech, Arizona State football? What year was that?
I think it was a 2-score game. Yeah, it was Mahomes.
Oh my gosh, 68-55.
Oh, it wasn't a 2-score. Yeah,
it was. It's 13 points. Michael, you want to guess how many combined points were in the second quarter alone?
Combined, both teams?
48. 48 points. 7 touchdowns were scored within a 15-minute game window.
That's
And
what
then
happens when you got the number 1 offense and the number 133 defense.
defense. And then the third quarter combined for 21 points. some halftime adjustments from Raid. Not yeah. Okay.
On the road. Defense travels, baby.
So football, I do think we're trending in the right direction. I think we're all excited about that. I'm again not going to say you're going to win 10 games this year or next year. Your home schedule, I think, sets up well. The problem is you look at the road, you're like, you could struggle or not win any of those road games. Washington State, you just haven't played well on the road. Arizona's 9-3 this year. Iowa State, if you get them in November, they were a lot better lit this year than anybody ever expected, which I think only helps set them up for success next year. Playing the young guys and the roster they played this year.
Well, especially the way they finished the season. You know, it's one thing to they just started out looking like it was pretty hopeless and went on a pretty good run to finish the season, including, let's see, what were they? 6-3 in conference.
Yep. Speaking of another team that started off looking pretty hopeless, Oklahoma State played for the conference title.
Also true. Yeah. They're very close to being a 10-win team if they can finish off the Aggies tonight.
A lost Aggies team. They don't have anybody. Staff, roster.
Rudderless.
And then TCU, like, are they going to bounce back? I would expect them not to be terrible. I mean, they're second, I think, in the Big 12 in terms of recruiting. In this most recent class, they were pretty good last year. I think we saw them
beat Colorado at home.
Well, Colorado was trash.
Yeah, I know. That's the joke.
You're right. But you have to go. Yeah, I mean, I say that you have to go to Fort Worth. I mean, you've only had one bad showing in Fort Worth. You not won every game in Fort Worth, but you've always been competitive in Fort Worth. So that's football. I think we're excited for the direction. I think you've got a great opportunity to plant your flag and stake your claim to be a competitive leader in the conference. Starts next year. You want to look at the bowl games so far? Big 12 bowl games?
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking about this before. But finally, Big 12 bowl games since, your game on the 16th got underway on Friday. UCF, Georgia Tech. UCF gets off to a pretty good start. John Reese Plumlee goes down, and then they don't score another point. They were up 17-3 about halfway through the second quarter, and then end up losing 30-17. They allowed 27 unanswered.
Just brutal. It kind of reminds you of that one even worse version of the Baylor game.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Well, maybe not.
At least
worse,
Baylor was
but
bad.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, guaranteed rate. Well, this was last night. Kansas UNLV. Entertaining game. I had not watched any UNLV football, so I know we talked about. We Texas Tech fans had talked about their offense. I was interested and intrigued to watch them play. Kansas. I mean, both teams looked like they wanted to be there. They were having. I say fun. They were entertaining. It was an entertaining game. It's not like you saw somebody that was like just sleepwalking or getting blown out. Kansas, though, 18 penalties, 216 yards of penalties, and still won by 2 scores.
Yeah, and that's their first. We were talking about Tech winning 3 bowls in a row. That is Kansas's first bowl win since 2008.
And their first time back-to-back bowls since, I think, 2007, 2008, too.
Yes, correct. yeah, they went bowlless. They did not have a bowl game from 2009 to 2021. Then, of course, last season went to the Liberty Bowl, lost, but they made it. And then, of course, yesterday won their first bowl game since 2008.
Yep. Then today we talked about the Duke's Mayo Bowl, West Virginia waxing North Carolina 30-10. Did not give up any second half points. Did the Mountaineers 17-10 at half, end up winning 30-10. And then you mentioned Oklahoma State halftime right now, 24-6 over Texas A&M. And then we have Kansas State, North Carolina State tomorrow. Sorry, just to say Thursday, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, 4:45. Then the Alamo Bowl, 8:15, Oklahoma, Arizona. Get a good look at Arizona, what they could be next season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be at the basketball game tomorrow night, so I will not watch this football game, or I will watch all of it. And then Friday, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Iowa State, Memphis, 2:30 p.m. You maybe feel bad for Memphis, or maybe not.
For going to the good thing about Memphis is, I think previously for the Liberty Bowl, there's been a lot of hotel issues for visiting teams, but I'm assuming the Memphis, what are they? Tigers? Bulldogs?
Tigers.
The Memphis Tigers will just be staying in wherever they normally stay. So they'll get a good night's rest. They won't have to worry
stay
about
at home
plumbing
even.
going bad or yeah. That's
We'll
what
just meet at the facility at 8:30.
Yeah. maybe they at least meet at the school and then get on a bus.
Yeah. And then last scheduled for Big 12 games would be Monday the 1st, All-State Sugar Bowl college football playoff semifinal, Washington and Texas, 7:45, New Year's Day. Make sure you get your black eyed peas in before then. That's not a bowl game food.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a lunch
Especially
food.
that late at night.
Yeah, no. You don't want to be forcing back some black eyed peas at night.
No.
All right. Let's
not a way to start the new year.
Shift gears to basketball, Michael. Unless you want to do baseball.
You know me, huge baseball fan. I'll leave.
Let's do baseball. Let's do baseball then.
Okay. Are we going to talk Lord of the Rings and Moneyball? You probably missed that on Twitter today.
I did. Sorry. I'm going to talk about.
You need to look that up. It's really a fun cross section of two fandoms. Go ahead.
Going to talk about the Texas Rangers winning the World Series. Which
show me your hat again.
You already talked about. You already talked about that, but our man Josh Young got him a World Series ring. So
yeah, he did.
There you go. You can't even see with my headphones. Here, let's do that. Is that better?
Yeah, that's way better.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, and then this white streak of beard, like it's all white over here, so that's fun. No, I don't dye my beard. I don't play Santa Claus. I probably could. Not that long. I mean, look at this. Jeez.
My beard has it's made of 5 different colors of hair.
Wow.
So you're good.
I have 3.
Get a little white. Get a little white down there. Gosh. Down to my chinny chin.
All right.
There's some good images to screenshot.
It's good podcasting too for those that aren't watching us. Talking about our beard colors, and we're not even saying colors. We're just talking about how they are different colors. Okay, baseball. Last season you went 41-23, 12-12 in Big 12 play. You were 30-7 at home. You were a really good home team, including your series win over the Longhorns. Wait, right? That was last year? Why can't I remember this? Were you in?
Sure.
No, I think you were in Austin last year, weren't you?
I don't know.
Sorry, my in-laws are leaving right now, and they're being really loud right outside the door. Yeah, sorry, you were in Austin last year, and you got swept. Okay. So forget I said that.
Yeah, I thought something. Okay.
Ultimately, though, you ended up losing in the Gainesville Regional to Florida team that would be the eventual national runner-up. They played for the national title against LSU. In 3 very entertaining games. The national title series or the finals, where Florida puts up like 24 runs in game 2, and then LSU bounces back and basically does the same thing back to them to win the thing in game 3. But last year, back to Texas Tech, you started off Big 12 play at home with Oklahoma State. You win that series. You had a walk-off Friday night. You lose Saturday, and then you run rule them on Sunday. Then you travel to Austin. You get swept there. You take the series against TCU, a 20-16 Friday night game. You lose 10-7, and then come back 10-5 on Sunday. You win the series against Oklahoma on the road, including an extra innings win Friday night, 13-7. So it's not like you had a 1-run top of the 10th. No, man, you put up 6 runs on them top of the 10th. Then you won Saturday to get the series. Then got run ruled on Sunday. You took 2 of 3 from Baylor, 10-1, 14-9, then lose Saturday. You had a doubleheader Saturday. This was Easter weekend, I believe. 4-6. You lose the series in Manhattan against Kansas State. This was a one that when it happened, you felt like you let one get away from you you shouldn't have. You lost Friday 2-3. You won Saturday 5-2. Lost Sunday 8-10. And you traveled to West Virginia. I'm just going through Big 12 games. That's why I have to scroll through. You lose the series. You had a bad game on Saturday. 17-2 loss there. But close one on Sunday. You lose 5-3. You win 5-2 on Friday. My goodness, they had like a all everything guy on their team. I'm blanking on who it was. It reminded me of like not like Dylan Cruz of LSU, but guy that was just like everywhere, doing everything for them. You couldn't get him out. And you come back home to finish out Big 12 play in the regular season. You lose the first game against Kansas. You're like, what the heck's going on? Then you beat them. Walk off on Friday, game 2, 8-7. And then you run rule them 15-1 on Saturday. Big 12 tournament rolls around. You take down West Virginia. You beat Oklahoma 10-9. That was a really fascinating back and forth game.
You won 2 games, period. I mean, that was
it's the first time you've done
crazy.
that. And then you had to do back-to-back games against Oklahoma State on Saturday. So you lose game 1, 1-8, 8-1, and then you lose game 2, 6-5. So you were on the doorstep of playing for a conference championship in the tournament. 1 run shy on that last game. Sets you up to take on Florida regional, UConn, Florida, and I can't remember the 4th team that was in that regional. But you took down UConn 3-2 on Friday. You beat Florida 5-4 on Saturday. And then you lost games 3 and 4 of that regional by 6 runs, 7-1, 6-0 to get eliminated and end your season. But like I said, you end up playing Florida, who was eventual national runner-up. They were so stinking good. They were number 2 national seed. So losing doesn't feel good, but I mean, when you lose to a team that almost won it all and as good as they were, you're like, what are you going to do? I'm going to go through some of the statistical leaders from last year just to remind you of some of the guys that were on your team and like, oh my gosh, like they were so good. Your average, your leader in average, Nolan Hester, 361. Played in 60 games, started 60 games. Only 2 guys played in or started more games. That was Kevin Bazell, who played third base for you, but will be behind the dish this upcoming season. played 63, started 63. Gavin Cash, all 64 games, started and played first base. Bazell was second in your average with 348. Cash 327. Gage Harrelson 324. Hudson White, Austin Green, Tracer Lopez. Home runs, my gosh, can't forget. Gavin Cash had 26 home runs last year. And then maybe quietly, but Austin Green was second on the team with 12. Hudson White with 11. Kevin Bazell with 10. Excited to get Bazell back and in more of a natural position. Your middle infield, we'll see how it shakes out, but Tracer Lopez had some great games for you. Cade McGar, you were missing some guys early in the season with injuries. But Washburn out in the outfield. You should be getting his brother back in the pitching rotation. Both Washburns. Will Burns, quarterback, shortstop combination may be able to help you out there too. But we'll get more info on what the team's going to look like next season as we're getting closer into spring practice. I know they've already started practicing and all that kind of stuff. But just a quick reminder of guys that were on the team, big time contributors. Then your pitching staff was up and down. As a starter, you love what you got from Mason Molina out of the bullpen. Brandon Beckel was your ace. If you can consider an ace out of a bullpen. I know that coming into the season, Tad, like I talked about, having 6 starters, and you kind of flirted with that for a little while, but there at the end of the season, seeing Kyle Robinson kind of come into form. Who else did we like there at the end? Rogers. It's not because of his name, but that hurt. Anyways, excited about baseball because it's the best sport out there. Any final thoughts on baseball, Michael? I know it's your favorite sport. You were so keyed into the program and all that kind of stuff.
I feel like you did a great job. A lot of those names were.
Are they familiar?
Definitely familiar names that I completely remembered from last year. I remember Hester being really effective at the plate, so that's good.
He was a fantastic leadoff man, especially with that average too. Like it wasn't just like he was on base a lot. He was hitting on base. He wasn't just walking or whatever. But he was really good at that too. I think his OPS was like just at 1,000. I don't pretend to know what we may be able to enjoy from Dinger Derby this season. It may be light from what I remember, but if you're not following that Twitter account or subscribe to the Dinger Derby podcast, you need to do that because Keith does fantastic work. Love to have everything he's able to contribute this year. But check them out. Obviously, we will do our updates and previews as we can. But we're not going to touch the level of access that he has as a credential carrying member of the media. So
that's right.
But he is a part of the
lanyard.
Staking the Plains Content Network. If you haven't been keeping up with that, obviously we got lots of good work going on with Gambling Gauchos, Seeing Scarlet, Dinger Derby, and of course ourselves. So baseball, I think, is 4 weeks away. Opening day is like something like 50 days. Let me pull up that schedule really quick. It is 50 days, 20 hours, 47 minutes, 8 seconds from today, February the 16th in Arlington, facing off with the Tennessee Volunteers. you've been living under a rock, you know they've been a pretty good baseball program in the past few years. So, what a way to start off the season in the home of the World Series champions, Texas Rangers, taking on the Tennessee Volunteers.
That's it.
The Shriners Children's College Showdown. You will face Tennessee and Nebraska and Oregon. Oregon was also a regional team. Super exciting regional matchup they had with Oral Roberts. Did not go Oregon's way, but you actually have a couple more games at Globe Life following this tournament. So you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so the 16th, 17th, 18th at Globe Life, and then you get Monday off, not part of the Shriners Children's College Showdown, but you'll also be in Globe Life Tuesday, Wednesday versus UTA and Oregon State. So you'll get 5 games to start your season in Globe Life. So Dallas based, or DFW based, DFW based Texas Tech Red Raider baseball fans will have quite the opportunity to check out early season baseball. The home, the World Series champions, Texas Rangers. Then you get Texas Southern, Gardner Webb, New Mexico, and then you kick off Big 12 play at home versus the Texas Longhorns, March 8th. Host New Mexico State. You travel to Baylor, and you host BYU. Travel to UCF. You will host Stanford. I'm going to go through Big 12 games, but Stanford, that's a huge series. I believe you split with them last season, but that's a definite RPI resume building series there. Then you host Houston. Travel to Fort Worth for TCU. You have 2 games in Fayetteville versus Arkansas there in the middle of April. That'll be a fun little series. Hosting West Virginia, back in Kansas for the Jayhawks. Hosting Oklahoma in Stillwater for Oklahoma State. I don't know how this works out, but you're in Tempe for 1 Big 12 game against Arizona State. You'll play UNLV in Tempe, and then Arizona State again, but it's not marked as a Big 12 game. So that's a quick look ahead.
Yeah.
Quick look ahead to the schedule. Let's get to basketball, Michael.
Okay.
Lady Raiders lost again, 11-2. No longer receiving votes in the AP poll. They lost to Tulsa and Oregon State in the Maui Classic tournament. That Oregon State game ended up being 77-65. It was a super late tip, 11:30 Wednesday night on the 20th. They're back at it Saturday the 30th, so upcoming this weekend, when they kick off Big 12 play at Houston.
Yeah, not going to pretend that I stayed up and watched that 11:30 tip, but Seeing Scarlet did. This is our weekly plug for Seeing Scarlet. Go follow them on all the social medias and listen to their podcast
for sure,
because they did stay up till past 11:30, and I think Shelby's in the Eastern time zone, so it might have actually been
12:30 tip for
her. So yeah, I didn't watch that one. I did watch enough of the Tulsa one. We were recording during that and actually finished watching it at the end. Tech made a run there towards the end, but just couldn't get any shots to go down that first game. And I have a feeling that once they get back to, hopefully when they get back in the States and get back into a better rhythm, they'll have a better chance at getting those shots to fall. A lot of stuff that they would normally make. So yes, it was 2 losses, but the only 2 losses of the season so far. But yeah, I got a chance to take on Big 12 foe Houston, like you mentioned. And then right after that, hosting number 5 Texas Wednesday, January 3rd at 6 p.m. Texas, I believe, is 12-0 right now. I don't think they have yet to lose a game. So
Yep.
yeah, get to come back, go to Houston, but then get the pleasure of hosting the number 5 team in the country in your own house.
Should be
Wednesday, January 3rd.
rocking environment.
It'll be going.
Yeah, for sure. Men 9-2 on the season. We talked about last week. No, we didn't talk about it, but they defeated UT Arlington 77-66. Almost spot on to the Haslametric projection. Again, like
Yeah, very close.
We talk about this just about every game. The projection was 78-65. 1 point off for each team there. They had,
Yeah,
I mean, what was his name? Philip Russell. My goodness.
Yeah,
He came back and had himself a game.
Well, he was kind of a non-factor in the first half. He just couldn't hit any shots. He was 0 for 7 on 3 from the day. But it was obvious, I think they were kind of UTA wasn't being as aggressive as their coach would have liked. So going down 39-25 at half, they came out and immediately started putting the ball into Russell's hands more, forcing, getting him to the free throw line. They didn't shoot a single free throw in the first half, and then they shot, 14 in the second, and he shot 10 of them. So, or they shot 13 in the second half. So the combination of that, and then both teams just really playing sloppily. We thought that UTA would have a lot of turnovers. They average almost 16 a game. They had 17. Well, so did Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't help you a whole lot. Not to call out names, but Darion Williams had 5 of those 17 turnovers. A lot of just sloppy passes or not looking ahead. But Tech was able to withstand the UTA comeback, as if you want to call it that. There was about a 5-minute stretch where it still really started to look rough. Tech was up by 20. They were up 53-33 with 15 minutes left. And then UTA went on a 17-4 run, cut the lead to 7 in 5 minutes. So with 10 minutes left, Tech was only up by 7, but they held on, won an ugly game. They shot a lot worse in the second half than the first. They were 11 of 33 in the second half. I think they shot almost closer to 60% in the first half. So you knew that was going to come down, but to shoot 30-something% from the field overall, not great.
Yeah,
it was just a frustrating game. We were there, and the first half, it felt like the first half flew by. And then the second half, there were just so many fouls and so many reviews, and there was at least one technical. There was a flagrant. There was a technical and a flagrant on the same play, I think.
Because what's his Pop got hit pretty good, didn't he? In the face? Or was it Toussaint?
I think, well, it may have been Toussaint, but
Pop shot the free throws.
One of those was a flagrant it was just a good hard foul, if there's a way to say it. It was obvious that the defensive player was not going for the ball, but obviously not trying to send the kid to the hospital either.
Yeah.
Just, hey, you're not going to make this one. Okay, it's a flagrant. I think, I think that was just kind of accepted.
Yeah. Both teams didn't shoot a free throw in the first half. They both shot 13. Texas Tech 11 for 13. UTA was 10 of 13. You were 10 of 27 from 3. They were 8 of 28.
Yeah.
It's just it's fascinating how close these numbers were, like total wise. They were 24 of 60. UTA were from the field. You were 28 of 62. Which again, like you would say, well, it's that leads have been a close game, and at one point it wasn't a close game. You had 4 guys in double figures. I think maybe the concerning thing was Kerwin Walton came back to earth. No points. 20 minutes, no points.
Yeah, well, he got in foul trouble too and had a couple of turnovers. Not foul trouble, but he just
Hit
I
2
think he got
fouls. Yeah.
a quick couple fouls that they kind of pulled him out on. But yeah, it wasn't him that had the turnovers. It was Lamar Washington. He played 7 minutes and had 2 turnovers, but he also had 2 steals. I don't know.
Yeah. It was sloppy. You got a game coming
Yes.
up tomorrow night, which I will be at. I'm excited to take the family to this. Already kind of set expectations like, hey, there are going to be times we have to walk around, but it's okay. You're taking on 6 and 7 Sam Houston State, 7 p.m. ESPN Plus. Those who want to watch it. Ken Palm has them at 196. Their offense is terrible. 245. Sam Houston's offense 245, defense 148, tempo 130. Haslametrics has this as a 17-point game in your favor, 78-61. They're going to be led by guards Devon Barnes and Lamar Wilkerson, both bigger guys. Barnes is 6'5", Wilkerson 6'4". Barnes shoots about 14 points per game. Wilkerson 13 points per game, and both right at 35% from 3.
I did not copy paste that. They are the exact same percentage points.
34.9.
3.
Yeah.
So pretty solid 3-point threat from these 2 guys.
And then just one more game after that, and non-conference before you hit Big 12 play on the 6th. You have North Alabama Monday the 1st. They are also 6 and 7, 1 p.m. ESPN Plus. Ken Palm has it at 227, a 81-63 win in your favor. They will have a common opponent once you hit Big 12 play. When you get to Kansas State, they took Kansas State to overtime and lost by 1. So
Yeah,
probably not a team to
Manhattan.
overlook.
Yeah, which is not a surprise with it being North Alabama. I doubt Kansas State would volunteer to play them in their place. And then also, very important stat, North Alabama is going for the TTU sweep, very coveted a very coveted award where because they beat Tennessee Tech 86-71 on November 30th, and they're out for blood, man. They're out for the TTU sweep. I don't know what that is. Is it a broom in the shape of a cactus? I don't know.
My dad went to Tennessee Tech.
Connections everywhere.
Just throwing that out there. As a native of Nashville, well, Nashville suburb, lived in I'm blanking on Laverne.
Plano of Nashville.
Yeah, basically. Laverne, Tennessee, where he's from.
There you go. Lynchburg? No.
No, it's not that far east.
I do not know my Tennessee geography. I couldn't tell you where Memphis or Nashville or any of them are.
So Memphis is far west, like almost like on the border, like it's on the Mississippi River, basically. Nashville's more central, Knoxville, and like the mountainous Appalachia. This is far east. Chattanooga. It's in there too. Anyways, Nashville. I don't know why. I know that Tennessee Tech had a pretty statistically exciting baseball game not that long ago. We're hitting a bunch of home runs. Was that last season or maybe the year before? Either way.
Yeah, that's right. They did. Just dingers after dingers.
Dangers. Let's do the year in review for basketball, Michael. Let's bring this down to earth for a second.
Okay.
We talked about it as a. You shouldn't be surprised if you fire your coach that it did not go well. I did not remember this. You started off conference play 0-8. First half of conference play, you were winless. Ended up going 5-13 in Big 12 play. So you went 5-5 over your last 10. But my goodness, 16-16 overall. Regardless of what some of the rumors were about who was actually coaching the team, what was going on in the locker room, you just did not have a great team last year. You had Sparks, Like when you beat Georgetown, you're like, it was pretty good. You like to see that. You put up 102 on a HBCU Roundball Classic game, 111 the next week, the next game against Houston Christian, 110 South Carolina State. A team that's not very good scoring wise, you put up 3 games of 100 plus points in a row. And then they were like, you were losing close games, right? Like when you went 0-8 to start conference play, you lost by 6 in Fort Worth against TCU. You lost by 3 at home versus number 3 Kansas. You lost by 5 in overtime to Oklahoma. You got blown out by Iowa State in Hilton, 84-50. You lost by 2 to Texas, number 10 Texas in Austin. You lost by 7-21 Baylor. You lost by 10, number 13 Kansas State. So like you had just like this murderous row. Outside of Kansas, all of your Big 12 games were ranked. TCU was 18, Kansas was 3, Oklahoma was unranked, Iowa State was 14, Texas was 10, Baylor 21, Kansas State 20. Or Kansas State was 13. And then you hit up, lose by 15 at home to West Virginia. Thankfully, you get a break with the Big 12 SEC Challenge. You take down LSU in Baton Rouge by 8. And then you get this wild game against Iowa State back in Lubbock. You take them to overtime and win 80-77. You traveled.
Your first conference game. First conference win.
First conference win, January 30th. Overtime win at home versus Iowa State. You're 1-8. Then you turn around, head on the road to Baylor. You lose big in Waco. You lose by 27. You go up to Oklahoma State. It was not very good last year, and they're going to be even worse this year. You lose by 3. So you are 1-10. Home versus Kansas State, you win that one by 8. Home versus Texas, you win that one by 7. Home versus West Virginia, you win that one by 6. No, sorry, on the road at West Virginia. On the road at Oklahoma, you win that one by 11. So you get a little bit of momentum there. You win 4 in a row against ranked opponents. Kansas State was 12. Texas was 6. You host TCU. You lose that one by 1. Should have had that one. And then on the road at Kansas, number 3 Kansas, you lose that one by 4. So like, well, like you were losing some close games. You're like, this isn't that bad. You lose at Oklahoma State to finish out the regular season schedule by 3. But to go 5-13, you're like, oh man, we were not good. And then obviously with all the distraction off the court stuff, you lose your first game in the Big 12 tournament. And then with your non-conference, you didn't make the tournament. So make a change in the off season. You go to Grant McCasland. And obviously the team right now, like we talked about just a second ago, is 9-2. Has some holes, has some deficiencies, but you kind of expect that when you're changing over staffs, changing over rosters. But I think again, like what we said with football, you're heading in the right direction. Basketball is kind of strange how you have to retool and remake the roster just about every year. But you want to go through some of the statistical leaders from last year's team, Michael? Or is that going to be a lot of guys, again, no longer on the roster? Guys like Kevin O'Banner, Davion Harmon, Fardaz Amack, Jalen Tyson, Daniel Bacho, Elijah Fisher, KJ Allen, CJ Williams. Now, some of these guys exhausted their eligibility, but guys like Fardaz Amack, I mean, my goodness, there was a lot of stuff that came, like a lot of hype that came with him. And then like so much strangeness around his health and when he was actually available, when he was going to play. And when he got there, like, is he actually contributing for you? But this season's playing for Cal, he seems to be figuring out, at least for them, averaging I can't do that, but he in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 games he's played 367 minutes. Lowest minutes output so far was 23 minutes. CSU Bakersfield, 27 versus UTEP. Everybody else is in the 30s. Averaging 17 points a game, Michael.
Hey, 11. Did you say 11 games he's played?
Yeah.
That's how many he played last year.
No, he's played in 12 games. So there you go. He's played more games already.
So yeah,
than,
he's already played more games as a Cal Bear than as a Red Raider, and it is not January.
Not quite. He's averaging a double-double. 11 rebounds, 17 points. Has 13 blocks in 12 games, 10 steals.
Well, his numbers weren't awful at Tech. He was averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds in those 11 games he played.
Yeah. Good for him, I guess.
Yeah, it's good.
Elijah Fisher, another guy that was on your team last year, he's playing for DePaul. Played in 28 games, started 1 for you. He's played in 11 games so far for DePaul, started 9 of those, averaging 31 minutes a game. Obviously as a starter, but last year for you, played 12 minutes a game. Shooting 50% from the field. Not a 3-point shooter. They're only 24%. I'm at the ESPN stats page. Was showing a little bit differently than Amax. I can't tell you just yet. Points per game, all that kind of stuff. Here we go. Averaging 9.2 points per game. 4 rebounds. So far, he's got 21 assists in 12 games. High watermark so far in terms of points per game, 25. Long Beach State. Otherwise, pretty consistently right around the 10-point mark. And yeah. Anybody else you want to look at? Check in on, see how they're doing? Daniel Bacho stand out to me. Let's see what he's up to. What do you think?
He was really who I thought.
He's at Louisiana Tech this season. And how's he doing? Well, played in 12 games, playing a ton of minutes for them. Michael, he's averaging 14 points. 24 blocks.
Ooh. He had 35 at Tech in 23 games last year.
Well, he's played in 12 games, has 24 so far.
Nice.
Also averaging a double-double, averaging 11 rebounds a game, 14 points, and about 2 blocks.
I forgot he wound up at Louisiana Tech.
La Tech.
Good for him.
And you can also say
he's for Bacho.
Taking advantage of his competition, right?
Oh, yeah.
Teams on his schedule: ULM, Southern Utah, McNeese, Dillard, New Mexico, Nichols, SFA, Louisiana, Southeastern Louisiana, St. Louis, and Seattle. But
hey, he didn't make the schedule. He's just got to play the teams that line up in front of him. That's a football thing. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah. Anywho's, let's wrap this thing up, Michael. I'm depressed talking about basketball.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad yet.
You're not that guy.
We're not going to go 0-8 to start Big 12 play. Let me just say that.
You better be knocking on wood, brother.
It's just
okay.
Not
Hold on.
happen.
Hold on. Let's look at the schedule real quick.
I don't even have to look.
I'm gonna look.
But I'm going to.
Okay. Big 12 schedule starts at Texas, home versus Oklahoma State, home versus Kansas State, at Houston, home versus BYU. BYU's been on a tear. At Oklahoma, at TCU.
You host Oklahoma State. Boom. That's it.
Yeah. So game 2, and you host Kansas State.
Which
So you could go 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. Host BYU. Like, you love that you get to host them. Host Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Host UCF. Host Kansas. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you,
it's like
you
I
get
said,
UCF and
you're not gonna start out 0-8. There's no way.
you get
Bold.
UCF and Oklahoma State twice. All right,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
wrap this up and
that's
get to what do we learn. What do you say?
Okay.
All right. Because it's the week of Christmas, the week between Christmas and New Year's, let's start off with our Christmas menu, what we ended up having for Christmas. And then any favorite or notable presents or gifts that you had or gave. I don't care. You can yell about what you gave before we look ahead New Year's. So you want to start or you want me to start?
I'll go. For food, there's just all sorts of snacks all over the place, which is great. I love that. I thrive in that. And so we did a Christmas dinner. Christmas Day was just kind of a free for all. People could come and go and, open presents, go home, take a nap, come back. But so we had dinner though, and it was really simple. It was just baked potatoes, salad, and then I threw 2 tri-tips on the old Weber.
Oh, tri-tip, huh?
And they turned out pretty well. Felt
You
pretty
talking
decent
about
it.
how well they were cooked or the doneness they were cooked?
Oh, how well they were cooked. The doneness was actually about what I wanted. I made a mistake though.
Mm.
Even though I was cooking them indirectly, I should have flipped them. And so it was a pretty perfect medium most of the way through the thicker parts. Once you get to the thinner parts, it was well done. That's just kind of hard to escape that. But the medium parts were perfect, and except for there was kind of a taller gray wall on one half than the other, and that could have been remedied if I would have just flipped it halfway while it was cooking. But you live and learn, man. There's always stuff to learn.
We so Christmas meals for us, we did a heat and eat prime rib roast.
Oh yeah, that's
picked
right.
up the fully cooked roast from HEB. I think it was 4.5 pounds. Ended up being perfect. My brother and his family did not come for the full meal. They were we had originally planned for them to be there. They had their third baby on Friday.
No, that's right.
So they were in the hospital Friday. Ended up going home Christmas Eve. So they went home on Sunday. But so my brother and his 2 older girls came over Christmas Day afternoon to open presents, but did not have the meal with us. Anyways, it was perfect. It was very well cooked. Instructions were, it was just a reheat in the oven. And I got there was like a compound butter that was already made that I picked up from Kroger. Kroger's a ripoff, by the way, for those that live in the Metroplex. One, you absolutely have to have one of their cards to shop there. Everything else is like the prices listed on any individual item is with their card. They don't even show you what the normal price is. Now. But it's so insane. Ridiculous.
Yes.
And it was already expensive. Anyways, compound butter. I put that on over the roast the last couple of minutes. And it was fantastic. And we just did just simple sides. We had mashed potatoes, and a mashed potato substitute with cauliflower, just vegetables. We decided it was going to be like a cheat week, essentially. Anyways, we weren't going to worry about staying too much on diet with all the sweets and treats, all that kind of stuff. But I like the mashed potato. I like the mashed cauliflower substitute for potatoes. I don't know why.
I think that's worked pretty well the times I've had that. Or if I have it as a substitute for rice, that works pretty well.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Like a fried rice substitute. It works
Yeah,
there too.
cauliflower rice is not too bad.
And then Christmas night, we went and met Samantha's brother at Flaming Buffet, Chinese buffet there on Marsh Lane, Dallas. So we had lots of food Christmas Day. It's fantastic. Enjoyed every bit of that. Grayson, this place also does that. So they have their normal food buffet. They also had like sushi that they were making fresh and like putting out very, very frequent. So like it wasn't just sitting there very long. Grayson had a total of 5 plates of food. He's a 9-year-old, doesn't usually eat a lot. He talked about like, "Oh, I had so much food. I had so many calories." Like, one, you're 9. You don't have to worry about calories. And two is like, actually, you had a lot of fish. So no, you didn't have a lot of calories.
Yeah, it's probably
Um,
a very lean protein. Good job.
yeah. So he had some sushi, but he ate a lot of seafood that night. I had some lo mein noodles, so I had some carbs. I had some calories there. It's good stuff. Good stuff though at that buffet. Yeah, so that was our Christmas menu. You and I both have an item in common here on our gifts. Bluetooth
Oh yeah,
speaker.
I'm a simple man.
Well, we are men of a certain age. We like Bluetooth.
Yes.
So I got like it's not even like high level, like a like real fancy or expensive, but I got the Alltech Bluetooth speaker that's like the size of a boombox. If you remember
Oh, a
those.
little bigger one. Yeah.
Because we have a couple small ones, but I want a bigger one for when I'm working outside or when we go to the baseball games. We may end up being that parent this year where we have to have like we're doing the lineups and the walk up song and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but also I just wanted to have like a bigger one for around the house, so I got one of those. Super excited to bust it out, annoy the neighbors with it.
Mine's a small one, but it's kind of waterproof, and so
So
it's
this
just
one
one of those
is
really kind of rugged ones that's got a string on it, and I could just kind of take it around anywhere. And it's even got a spot for a micro SD card. I can throw some music on that if I don't want to mess with the Bluetooth.
actually using it as Bluetooth is intended.
Hmm.
This one it says it's waterproof and like and on the marketing images like it shows the speaker floating in a pool next to somebody. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm probably never gonna do that,
I don't ever
but
plan on getting this thing wet on purpose, but it's just nice to know.
yeah. But like
It's nice to know if there's like a football game and I have to hear what's going on and I while I'm in the shower, and for some reason I can't hear it outside the shower. But I tried it the other day, and that's what's crazy about these is I don't need one, but every 5 years or so. And so the one I've been using just kind of got to where it wouldn't take a charge anymore, and just
mm,
it wasn't consistent. And so my wife got me this new one, and it's way smaller, but it sounds like 10 times better. It's crazy. Just every time you, because I only get one when I broke it or lost it or
mhm.
quit working. And so about every 5 years, that Bluetooth speaker technology, it's gone up a peg.
Yeah. So we have a shower Bluetooth speaker and it's tiny. It's like a hockey puck size. And then we have like it is a Soundcore Flare, so it's the size of like a bigger than like a soda can or like a beer can or whatever. And that one, like the sound quality difference between those two is like it's astronomical.
Yeah,
The
I bet.
Soundcore Flare is so good. And then I'm like I said, I haven't tried it out yet. I'm excited to see if it's not because it's bigger, just because it's newer. The sound quality on the new one I just got. Um, let's see, what else did I get? I got a meat grinder that I'm excited to try out.
Oh,
So
nice.
I got
Make
a meat.
make some sausages.
Yeah, maybe. I got like a food slicer that you can do for like a roast. You cut it down to cut into steaks, like bread or whatever. And I also got this. So that was on the Black Friday deals at Cabela's. But I also want to get a meat grinder, so I got one of those. I'm excited about that.
I got some pretty low key things, but this is how I roll. So my mom's always fretting about what to get me. I'm like, well, okay, here's some stuff. I really want some nice thick thermal socks
Okay.
and some beanies because the beanies, she has a knack for picking out really good beanies for me. Like she'll just buy one for me every few years or so. Well, the last one she bought me, I've worn it almost out. And so I was like, okay, just let's do that. So she came through, awesome pair of socks. She got me two beanies, super warm. When you're a bald man out on the plains, those beanies are crucial
We
to
were
get through these months.
we were checking the weather while we were in Dallas. Like, man, Lubbock's got a little bit colder than
Yeah,
one it was when we left, and because like Mesquite, like it was like lows in the mid to upper 50s. It was like
right.
here's like
Well,
it's dropping into the 30s and 20s.
yeah. Well, even that it was Saturday. Nope. See, I'm in that purgatory. My days are all mixed up. Christmas Eve. That was my little one's 7th birthday. So even though she'd had her party and everything, we still took her to Blazing Bouncers, just her, so she
Oh,
could
nice.
run around and do whatever she wanted. But that day was it. Every time you stepped outside, it was colder than it was before, and the wind had picked up. So it just kept. And the sun. I think there was sun that morning, and then there was no sun at lunch, and then yeah, Christmas Eve was cold. The other thing I got, which I haven't tried yet, I need to though. My mother-in-law got me these. It's a set of 12. It's a mix for an old fashioned, basically, but
Okay.
they're already broken out into 12 different pieces, and you put that in the freezer, and so then they make ice cubes.
Okay.
So you just pop out an ice cube, drop it in your favorite bourbon, or vice versa, or however you want to do it, and it's you stir it until the ice cube melts, and then you've got your nice cold old fashioned ready to drink right there. And I think the flavor was blood orange and ginger. Man, I don't know. I don't know how I haven't had one of these yet because the second I opened it, I put it in the freezer so that I could partake on Christmas Eve or the Christmas night. Then I forgot about it. Then I forgot last night too. And tonight it's almost 11 o'clock, so I'm probably just gonna go to bed. But maybe tomorrow I'll finally remember and I'll try it. Pretty excited about that. I
There you
love
go.
old fashions. Like
So,
that's my favorite.
you were talking about beanies, and I thought of you on Saturday. My mom volunteers at her church, on which they call the Altar Guild. She helps set up all the floral arrangements and the linens and stuff. So she was out volunteering with that group Saturday morning to get ready for all the Christmas Eve services. Um, so we were at home by ourselves for a few hours. Like, you know what's very close and we always talk about going to? It's Buc-ee's. So ran out to Buc-ee's. They had pretty good quality like a bucket hat with obviously their logo on it, and like the underside of the brim had like their logo on like a step and repeat. And I was like, man, if Michael wasn't so opposed to Buc-ee's, this would be a good gift for him. But I was like the hat, he would love a hat. He would love this, but
If
not from Buc-ee's.
if there's an Allsup's beanie, I will be in the
um
market. Yeah, it
also
always kind of makes me cringe because uh my my daughter who, has been to Bucky's twice in her life loves it. Loves the
it's an adventure.
loves the Bucky,
Hmm.
loves anything with him on the stuff. She's got like some Bucky's pajamas. She's got something, I think some hair ties and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I was surprised at how many grown adults were there wearing Buc-ee's gear at Buc-ee's. Like there was one guy
What's
decked out. He had a
what's
t-shirt, the shorts, he had like slides on, a hat. I was like, "You work here, man?" Like just come out of the bathroom holding a 52-ounce soda or something.
he wore
Um,
slides into the bathroom?
and like he wasn't walking out with a drink, but
Well, they're so
anyways,
clean. Those bathrooms are so clean. I guess you could technically go barefooted. The other
Um,
thing too, what's worse, Bucky's adults or Disney adults?
Bucky's adults,
Yeah, I kind of think so too.
because you can grow up
Okay.
a Disney fan, and that'd
Yeah,
be okay, and then like bring that to your family.
yeah.
Being a Bucky's adult, I don't know.
Or you could grow up a fan of one of the franchises that Disney has since acquired,
Sure.
and then by default, okay, yeah, fine. Huge Star Wars fan here, so yeah, I'll go to Disney.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Or whatever other thing they've acquired since then. Okay, yeah, I've been reading the Avengers comics,
Mm, yeah.
and yeah, so now I'm really big into Disney, technically.
Technically. Okay, so that's Christmas. We got New Year's Eve coming up this weekend. You got any plans?
The same plan I always have.
Are you like in bed by 9:30 guy?
No, no.
Okay.
I do at least stay up until New Year's, but we seldom ever really do anything. We were actually talking about having some champagne this time,
Whoa.
but I know for a fact my wife will be asleep by 9:30 probably. So we'll have to pop the champagne at like 8 so we can enjoy it.
So you
But
stay up for New Year's all by yourself?
typically, yes.
What are you doing? If you don't
Okay,
mind me
here's
asking,
what
like
I'm doing.
if your girls are in bed for
I'm
2.5
probably
hours,
well, usually, I mean,
are
that's
you
not
on
a
Farm
crazy thing.
Simulator?
Yep. That's not a crazy thing around here anyway because uh our little one goes to bed early and then my wife has always gone to bed, early. And so there's a lot of times I'm just like I'm not ready. No, I can't go to bed yet. My brain won't let me because if I go to bed at 9 or something, then I'll wake up at 11:30 and be up till 2
It's like
for
that's
no
just a
reason.
nap for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what my brain does. So anyway, I feel like normally I don't like to get back there till 10:30 at the earliest. So yeah, that's basically what will happen. Or I'll catch up on a show or whatever until 11:55. And I learned this from Spencer Hall on Twitter years ago. So here's what you do: 11:55 with 5 seconds. You have to get it that close. You start the album version of Freebird, and so I will plug in probably these headphones. I'll plug in these headphones into my phone and start it right on time, and it crescendos where the solos are just really picking up steam right as that ball drops. It's beautiful.
All right. I'm gonna look it
I've
up.
done that probably 3 or 4 years in a row now, and it's been fantastic. I remember it was 2 years ago that I was sick, and so I took a shot of Robitussin as the as midnight hit, and then I let Freebird play out, and then I went to bed.
Nice.
That was my raucous New Year.
Well, we started a family tradition. We will host, not host. We will have a family talent show and game night to keep us all active and awake, getting ready
Oh, to keep
for
going.
New Year's. We have lots of kids. We have actually one family that's like bound. Like we'll be in bed by 10. There's no point in staying up. It's like, what? You guys suck. You're lame. But we're getting big enough. We're actually, our church will allow us to use like the cultural hall, the gym, essentially largest meeting
Mm-hmm.
room, basically. So we're gonna have our talent show there, game nights and like uh, finger foods, that kind of stuff there until we're done about 10. Pack up, clean up, head home. For anybody that wants to catch like New York and or Central Time New Year's, we'll do all that together at one house. I may have to try the Freebird if somebody's willing to let me take one of the two New Year's celebrations, and then we'll have like sparkling cider or whatever for all of us.
I don't know
Um,
if what you see is the reflection or not, but that's my yearly calendar reminder.
okay, so do you
Freebird.
do you start it at 11:55:05 or 11:54:55?
No, 11:55 with and 5 seconds.
Okay,
Those 5 seconds make a difference.
So 4 minutes 55 seconds into the song, you should be hitting midnight.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All
you
right.
should be hitting that dual guitar solo right at its zenith, and you'll want to finish out the whole song. It's a great way to start out the year.
Well,
And then, like I said, I go to bed right after that.
well, I have to give that a try.
You should.
All right.
do it.
That'll do it for us in the 23 Personnel Podcast. This has been the end of year 7, 2023. We'll be back in the new year, 2024. Maybe talk about some podcasts, Texas Tech resolutions, goals, all that kind of stuff. I hope it's been a great year for you and your family. Looking forward to what's to come. For Michael, I'm Spencer. Catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at Punt Suck, and Michael at Michael_LVK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.
All righty.